You know that feeling when a new printer shows up and you want to love it, but you are also ready to be disappointed. Yeah, that was me with HeyGears Reflex 2. Hello everyone, I am Dennis, and this is Reflex 2. Ever since I called the RS the best printer I ever reviewed, and the RS Turbo the best upgrade, I've started to doubt myself a little. And honestly, that doubt showed up when I started testing the Reflex 2. HeyGears sent me the Reflex 2 along with the Cure and Wash unit and PRM2. HeyGears Ultracraft Wash may be the heaviest wash unit I ever lived, and one of the best accessories from Wash unit. It also has the most engineered container. At first, I don't understand why there are two containers. After checking the valve functions, taking a close look at the inside of the container, playing with the container air vent and one-way valve, it all clicks suddenly. Their purpose is so that you can stack them. The IPA-filled container at the top, you drain the IPA to the container at the bottom. And ready for another round of washing right away. Very clever design. Move on to the shaker, if I could call it that. The top part here where the container sits seems to be made of rubber or possibly silicone. It is a very good choice. You could easily clean them. It can grip the container very firm during shaking. One thing that is kind of weird when I play with the interface is why there is no back button. You can only commit or cancel the progress. Well, that's not big of a deal. But this next one might be the deal breaker. During wash cycle, it shakes a lot. And I mean a lot. Ultracraft Cure, on the other hand, isn't your average UV box. It's built like something out of a dental lab. The first thing that hit me when I unboxed Ultracraft Cure was the build quality. This thing feels premium. 100% sure the door cover blocks 100% UV light. At the bottom, there's air pipe port for nitrogen. The nitrogen assist feature is something you typically find on high-end dental or industrial post-curing systems, and if I'm not mistaken, it can also prevent yellowing. A quick tip for the tray: cover them with plastic wrap. You'll thank me later. Aside from curing, Ultracraft Cure has bake function. Most curing stations only use UV light to finish prints. That cures the surface but often leaves the inside of the model slightly undercured. And many industrial, dental, or biocompatible resin have a two-step cure process. UV exposure to solidify the model, controlled heating to reach final chemical stability. One thing missing, in my opinion, is the fan function to quickly dry the model after washing. Onto the protagonist of this video. Everything solid, no cheap plastic panels, no flex, no wobbly hinges. The whole chassis has this dense industrial vibe that tells you it's meant for serious use, not just weekend tinkering. And adjustable fit at the bottom. HeyGears moved the resin bottle port to the side. This is a good idea because the previous version gives me anxiety every time I remove the bottle from the top bag, and any resin dripping in the port are hard to clean. By moving it to the side, it is easier to reach and clean if any resin drip around this area. Same placement at the side of the printer for the SD card, flash disk, and LAN port. But who decided to put the power switch on the back of the printer? I have to lean in like I'm about to kiss it every time I want to turn it on. I mean, I love resin printing, but not on a romantic level. For the cover, when you open and close it, has that smooth, damp motion. And about 12 cm space behind the printer is needed to fully open the cover. Rest assured that no UV light can penetrate the cover. Look at the big build arm and the lock mechanism. It screams industrial all over. For the build plate, it has edge surface and perforated holes. I can already guess some people gonna hate them holes. They're gonna be saying things like resin gonna get stuck in them holes. Sorry bro, that is because of your bad print setting. On my test for Reflex 2, nothing ever stuck in the holes. Honestly, the build plate is kinda awkward to hold because of the gap at the middle. I am so used to hold build plate with handle at the center, so it might take a while for me to get used to holding the build plate. And it's still kinda annoying dealing with resin gathered at the flat top of the plate. At the far corner of the resin tank is the manual gravity-fed resin refill. It is simple and it works. The thumb screws are built in. You can use it as handle to lift the tank. And there are resin tank feet. But why leave this edge here? That's gonna be hard to clean. The pouring spout works. Yes, it works and pour very well. Reflex 2 screen has the same 6K resolution as previous Reflex model, but slightly bigger build size at 230mm, 144mm, and the height 230mm. They called it Amber Screen Pro. The lifespan is 12.5 longer times compared to Reflex standard screen. The screen is also modular for easy replacement. The light engine is also new, the 161 OptiZone light engine. It can control to light up the zone where the image is projected. No wonder HeyGears claimed 12.5 times longer lifespan on the screen. From my tests, the light uniformity gives a very good result. And the noise test, although it is not a quiet printer, it is still within acceptable result. To me, HeyGears is still the best when it comes to auto leveling. With the force sensor monitoring and all, I am so confident to just pour resin in the tank and went straight to print the leveling tester. The leveling tester print result, flawless. There's this new thing from Reflex 2, the scraper. Instead hit it flat, Reflex 2 used this metal scraper for the heater. Installing the scraper is quite simple. Remove the tape and tighten the scraper thumb screw. During printing, the scraper combo with the build plate perforated holes creates a lot of bubbles. But you wouldn't believe me if I told you the scraper can help eliminate bubbles, especially at the top of your printed objects. Look how clean the top of the model. No bubble holes. If you're curious as to what caused the bubble holes at the top of your model, and this has been bothering almost all resin printer users, and even experts cannot find foolproof solution to this problem. Look closer to what sticks at the bottom of this resin tank. I noticed them when I was testing a clear resin. No matter how long I wait, they won't float to the surface. I even paused my print and tried to disturb it with this silicone spatula, but they are stubborn and stay at the bottom. One thing to note, the metal scraper is optional, so you purchase them separately from the printer. But I find two extra benefits from this metal scraper. One, it can keep stirring the resin to prevent pigment settles at the bottom. Two, give a good hard exercise every time you see how close the scraper passes the model. I have to admit, the intro scenes at the front screen when turning on the printer makes the printer looks more premium. The touchscreen is very good and responsive, but what disappoints me is there is no option to adjust the metal scraper temperature. And I think this is too much, even though I am aware of HeyGears' closed ecosystem. Even more disappointing is when I get into real object print. Okay, I am not sure what is happening. According to the printer, job failed. Yes, I could see lots of fail. And judging from the resin spill and that sphere model, by the way, I set the sphere model at the center back of the plate. Judging from this fail, I'm guessing the scraper somehow hit the sphere model, or the sphere model fell and attach to the film, and then the scraper scrape it to the side. And I have a bit of a resin spill here. I guess I will try to reprint and get rid of the scraper. One good thing is this shows how well the printer fail detection works. I informed HeyGears teams and they told me that the printer is not optimized for pre-supported model yet. So I have to re-support them all in Blueprint Studio. And then they asked me to report to Blueprint support. When I remove the scraper, the print result coming out success. So I re-support all the model in Blueprint, attach the scraper again, and this time the print result is also good. For a seasoned user like me, the solution is simple. A quick adjustment to the print settings should fix it. But the closed ecosystem prevents me from that, and I have to wait for the next update. And up to this day, during the making of this video, no feedback from Blueprint support. Whenever there is a failed print, HeyGears team are so fast to blame it on pre-supported model. And I always told them, no, it is not the pre-supported model. It is the print setting. So just in case, this is the final test print that I'm gonna show you guys. I'm choosing PAF10 resin because it's very good to see in video. I support them all in Blueprint Studio, and look what happened. It is supported in Blueprint Studio, and I use the metal scraper. Yeah, it is the print setting, guys, not the pre-supported model. So all the test print that I've done is using resin profile that is not optimized yet. Maybe HeyGears could open up a program for experienced users like me to maybe help them tinker with the resin profile. So it is something like let the community help the community for the community, because more brain powers. For print result, I'm not gonna show them all in the video because this PAS10 resin turns out they are not very good to check on details. So I reprint some of them using PAF10. It has darker gray color and good to see details on video. But for your information, as I said, the resin profile is not fully optimized yet. You could tell for the bad print lines in this head sculpt. In this video, some of the model I will check using PAS10 because it seems the resin exposure is not bad, no bad print lines, and we are gonna see details with PAF10. For stability tests, the first print is this one with metal scraper. I could see we have some split here and possibly a layer shift here. I am guessing it is due to the metal scraper because this print here, this is without the metal scraper. It doesn't have the same layer shift at the same height. This is with metal scraper, this is no metal scraper. And I have no doubt that the Z-axis is very stable because we do not have those regular bending or regular wobble. The only issue is the timing with metal scraper. And this time, no, you cannot blame it on pre-supported model because it doesn't need support. Okay, for dimensional accuracy, first one with PAS10 resin, x-axis, very good. Y-axis, very good. And then with PAF10 resin, x-axis, also very good. Y-axis, yes, very good. The printer is very accurate. For anti-aliasing, the first one, anti-aliasing off, you could see all the voxels, and then fast 0, fast 2, and fast 4. So 100% the anti-aliasing works. Even with an optimized resin profile, I gotta say Reflex 2 could provide a very smooth and good surface, but that depends on the resin profile that you choose. Compared to this PAF10, you can see the bad print lines. This with PAS10, these two supported on Blueprint. I support them myself in other slicer. they are very good, but this one, not very good. And it is supported in Blueprint Studio, okay? This is not pre-supported model, this is supported in Blueprint Studio. Yeah, and I have to wait for the update on Reflex 2 for the resin profile. But even with somewhat working profile for PAS10, I have to say the surface is top notch. No defect at all. Oh, by the way, I print this without metal scraper. No timing issue without metal scraper on PAS10. Print this model, they all come out very well. And they are quite big, they are quite big. Usually, the bigger the model, the bigger the problem when printing. I want to check the details on Reflex 2, so I will be comparing them with RS Turbo because I printed PAF10 on RS Turbo before, so I guess this is a very good comparison for details. From this point onward, everything on the left will be RS Turbo and on the right will be Reflex 2. We have sharper details here on RS Turbo. The Reflex 2, you could see the embossed letter is somewhat blurry. You could tell that the Reflex 2 letters here, they are harder to read compared to RS Turbo. Same with the extrude letter. This is like what kind of jumble shape is this? And I could see a much better shape on RS Turbo. On first glance, you could see in this minis model, RS Turbo facial details are much more defined compared to Reflex 2. The left eye here is almost no detail at all. For Murdered Panda model, I guess I don't even need to zoom in to tell you guys that RS Turbo print is much better compared to Reflex 2. Reflex 2 stitching details compared to RS Turbo stitching details. I got nothing to say. I guess there's no point for me to keep pointing out the details comparing Reflex 2 and RS Turbos, but I will just keep showing the print result, but you guys could judge them for yourself and let me know in the comment section what you guys think. But remember, Reflex 2 is using 6K resolution screen, RS Turbo using 8K resolution screen. And the build size Reflex 2 is much bigger. So I guess the pixel size on Reflex 2 is also bigger compared to RS Turbo. HeyGears also sent me their new PRM2 unit. Disclaimer, this is not a full in-depth test for the PRM2 unit since I am limited by the resin options I have right now. So, the resin tank is not the heater anymore, but still the quite similar build and design with the dual layer fill. The pulse release unit has the same overall build and design as PRM1, but it is noticeably quieter. Also, installing the PRM kit is way easier this time. From the resin that I have and available resin profile, my choices are PAH270 and PAU20. PAH270 is white. It's gonna be hard to check surface quality. So I choose PAU20, the black resin. And when I told HeyGears team I was planning to print the steering wheel and sphere model, they told me PAU20 is not made for miniature or detailed object, only for structural component. So both steering wheel and sphere model will have bad print lines. They told me to try PA10 with PRM unit, but there is no resin profile for that resin at the moment I am doing this test. Alright, so I decided to print the sphere model because I am curious. And if you've seen my not so great experience with the PRM kit in the last video, you probably know why I am a little nervous. But check this out. This sphere was printed with the PRM2 unit. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. So I pushed it a bit more, this time reduced the support by about 50%. And the result, as you can see, the print is success, but not very good. Again, let me remind you, this PRM section is not in-depth test. This is just for my curiosity. I was limited by time and option to fully test the unit, but to help you decide if you are considering this PRM2 unit, according to HeyGears team, you can read it on the screen. This is why I am disappointed. I understand this is somewhat a test unit, but when pre-supported model fail because the resin profile is not optimized yet when using metal scraper, and most users prefer to support the model on other slicer. Let's admit it, blueprint support generation is not that good and not very intuitive. And if you are a veteran resin printer user like me, most of the issues that I share to you are easy to solve. A simple adjustment to the print setting will fix the issue. But you, or rather I, am bound by the ecosystem. I can test it the way I usually do. I cannot make changes, cannot troubleshoot, can't experiment like I always do with my other printer review. Maybe this printer is not for me. Maybe it's for users who don't have time to tinker with settings or don't really know how to support their own model. Maybe even for those who just want to hit print and get reliable result, no calibration, no fuss, and not as perfectionist like me. Maybe this printer is for them. Don't get me wrong, the print results are great, flawless I must say, even with unoptimized resin profile like these two objects here. So, in the end, it really depends on the kind of user you are. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Thank you to all Patreon and YouTube members that support my channel.